Good evening, welcome to the latest live edition of Last World Boxing, proudly sponsored by LW Liftings and SC Travel. I'll do a quick pleasantry introduction. So, good evening, Harrison.
That's very kind of you. Good to see you, Carl. Yeah, okay.
Good evening, Brett.
Good evening, lads.
Good evening, Orcam.
Good evening.
And good evening, Mr. Metcalf, Coach Sleberter. So, there's only one place to start this week, so I'm going to go straight in for the kill. We're going to start with Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Obviously, you'll notice that we haven't got one regular on the show, Ander, who's put it down to being a little bit poorly today. However, when you see in the taskbar at the bottom, I think I might have another reason why he's not on the show. Okay, I'm going to come to Harrison first. Harrison, I don't know where to start with this one. Do we talk commercial? Do we talk about the standard of boxing? Etc., etc. I'm going to let you go wherever you want to go with this one, Harrison. So, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Thoughts, man?
Well, it's got that fine blend, really, hasn't it, between understanding what it is in terms of a professional bout against what it is and what it will be for boxing on the global scale. I think the idea that Netflix would be able to broadcast boxing on this scale to any of us 3 years ago, never mind 8, 9, or 10, it was just something that was completely alien to me. The show itself and the scale and everything that I have been able to observe this week, from the press conferences to the back and forths and the camaraderie of everything, you can tell that this event's going to be monumental and it's going to sell itself. It's Netflix. It doesn't need to sell. It literally doesn't get any bigger than that, does it? So you've got to respect, I suppose, that side of what this event is. And it's good. Look, it's got a hell of an undercard attached to it as well. I'm sure you'll get into some of those fights as well. But in terms of the actual, the main event itself, everyone is going to have their opinion on it, aren't they? They're going to think that, it's great for boxing, or they're going to think this is a really dangerous thing. Where we could see one of the greatest boxers of all time get himself into serious trouble, or we could see Jake Paul get himself into serious trouble. So there's always going to be that side that has to face the camaraderie. Look, I love spectacles. I've always said that the big thing about the Riyadh season cards, the fights are good, but the actual events themselves are phenomenal events, and it's exactly what boxing needs. We're the prize fighter sport, aren't we? We're the sport that has to entertain and to please and to show, and that comes with this other side of what is going on as well. It's a very, very weird situation to comment on, to be honest, and I always feel a bit sort of, I never really know what the right thing is to say, but look, it should be a big show on Saturday night, and this main event's going to split opinion, isn't it?
Okay, thank you. Brett, I'll come to you next on the screen. Again, I don't want to be too prescriptive on how you break this down. Give us your views on the spectacle, which is Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Well, I'll say one thing at the minute with all this circus affair. We're all probably sat on this call as boxing purists, and we'll have our opinions on what an aging Tyson looks like at the minute and all the rest of it. But even over here in Canada, and Daz, you could probably back it up, like the gyms are full right now. Right, there's that much of a hype around it. People are actually going to boxing classes, and the way we've got there is these mainstream. The kids are on their phones all the time, coming across things, and you look in the comments. I'm just going past friends of social media. I've not got a clue about boxing. Can't wait for Friday night. So excited to watch. What they don't realize is what we know, and all I'll say is this: it's bringing eyes to the sport. Which, if you're a boxing lover, that's good because it brings more money into the sport for these boxers that put their life on the line. I think if the undercard kicks on the way it does and they actually watch the undercard, but with the fact that Harrison just said there it's free to them, they might just tune in at 8:30 where it is over 8:30 p.m. here, but whatever, they've got to get up and make an effort around the globe. If they watch the Taylor Serrano fight, and then they'll see what true boxing is. And they'll see. I actually think, I know we're going to get on to that, but I'll save my thoughts for that. But going back to Tyson, looking at him yesterday, they're showing him on the pads. Yeah, listen, if your dad at 58 is hitting like that, you'll be like, well done, Dad. Or if your dad goes away to Benidorm for the weekend and he whips his gear off and he looks like that, you're going to say, oh, your dad's in good nick. But at the end of the day, he's 58 years of age. And yeah, one of the most destructive men that's ever walked the earth when it comes to a boxing ring. But even just being in the gym myself and these young pups coming up and nowhere near this level, those young guys, they recover quick. They're quicker with the reactions. And Paul's doing it every single day. So if we say Tyson's got a puncher's chance, that's basically what it is. I just hope that those 2 minutes round save Tyson enough that he's not going to gas out. And then he's going to do, what happened to Holyfield. We see a legend hit the deck early just because they can't deal with the pace of the fight. But spectacle, like Harrison says, I'm not going to be one of those guys. I'm not watching it. I'm going to watch it. And I just hope to God, I just can't see anything other than a Jake Paul win.
Thank you very much. Orkan, coming to you, same sort of question. Give us your thoughts on the spectacle and, just give us your thoughts in general.
Yeah, this is difficult for me. I don't like this fight at all. And I don't gonna watch the fight either. But I understand the spectacle, and I understand that other likes it, but I don't. And I would watch the co-main and then switch off.
Okay, thank you very much. And last but not least, coming to Mr. Metcalf, Daz, obviously a big fan of Jake Paul. Give us your thoughts.
You missed Daz out.
Yeah, I'll come to him next. I'll come to him next. It was late in joining Mr. Metcalf, so you don't
Save
always
it best for last. Save it best for last.
Something like that. When he decides to turn up.
Mate, I don't know what to say about it. I really don't. Listen, I've said in the past about fights, like such as Tommy Fury v Jake. I'm not watching that. And I've ended up watching it, just curiosity. But I can honestly say, I ain't gonna watch this. I can honestly say I'm not gonna.
Any of it, or just the main event?
No, I'm not gonna watch Tyson v Jake Paul. And I'll tell you that, I swear on my dad's grave, I am not going to watch Tyson v Jake Paul. I do not want to see someone who I idolised growing up get beat up off an absolute clown. I'm a bit mixed about Jake Paul, to be fair, because I think he could do very, very good things as a promoter. I think he could do very good things. And do you know what? If the lad wants to have a crack at boxing, proper boxing, have a crack at it. You know what I mean? Don't fight these ex-UFC, MMA wrestlers, these 58-year-old grandfathers. Fight properly and have a go at it. If you come on,
he ain't going to get 40 million though, is he? Dad? He ain't going to get 40 million.
He don't need it, mate, does he?
But he don't want to go down that route. He got asked that question again at the press conference. When are you going to fight some real fighters?
He's got to stop calling himself a proper. I mean, the fact that the rules for this fight, 14-ounce gloves. I mean, to be fair, I don't blame him for wanting 14-ounce gloves. 14-ounce gloves, 2-minute rounds, and to be honest with you, it might be a case of Jake might just think, you know what? I'll pay Mike an obscene amount of money to get him ring with me. He might be a fan. I don't know, mate. I struggle to get my head around it, but you've got it's just pushing it, mate. For me, listen. What if Mike finds a 3-punch combination from 80s? Listen, it could snap Jake's neck.
Good night, no, that's what that is.
Listen. Can you imagine Tyson finding that right up to body, right uppercut Jose Ribalta with? Do you know what I mean? Jake's going to be the first man up moon without a suit. It's like it's just crazy.
He can still get put to sleep in those 14-ounce gloves, though, can't he, Daz?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson used to wear. I mean, a lot of fighters back then used like the Rays and stuff like that. Mike Tyson used to be hung on tradition. He used to like the Everlast, and them gloves Mike Tyson used to wear in his, up until I don't know his comeback. They were like pillars. proper pillars. And well, look what we were doing. We're knocking people's spark out, weren't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen, if Mike finds, a combination from 80s, yeah, listen, Jake could get hurt. There's no two ways about it. But also, Tyson's 58-year-old, and listen, I looked at him on pads, and yeah, he can hit hard, but the delivery of the shots just wasn't there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no.
Falling in with them as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. It's like, shouldn't be happening. And listen, I've got to give Jake a bit of credit. He's done no but train for 7 years. I doubt Tyson's even really done anything for probably 10 years, maybe, if not more. I just think we're playing a dangerous game, with these sort of fights, because somebody's going to get hurt. I just hope they both go home all right. But I honestly will not be watching it, because I just don't. Listen, I prefer to. I mean, I can't even watch Lennox v Tyson. I love them both. Do you know what I mean? But no, it's not for me, that at all.
Okay, cheers. Mr. Ashton, welcome to the show. Again, same question, John. I'm not being too prescriptive. Just talk to us about what your thoughts are on the spectacle, etc.
Well, as a proper boxing fan, I hate the fight for the same reasons a lot of the guys have said. Mike Tyson is a legend of the heavyweight division, and for money, he's stooping to what a lot of us deem as just a farce of an event, really. But the problem being is it's business, and it does sell. It sells massively. They're going to do some ridiculous numbers on a global platform like Netflix. My issue is they're deeming it as a professional fight, and like Daz picked up on about the 14-ounce gloves. How is it a professional fight with 14-ounce gloves and 8 2-minute rounds with men? That's not a professional fight for me. So what they're doing is they're saying about it's not going to be an exhibition, it's going to be a pro fight, but what it is really is a glorified exhibition. It's one of them. We can't do anything about it. It's going to happen, and I've said all along that I probably wouldn't watch it, but when I tune in for Taylor vs Serrano 2, the chances are, as the week goes on, the intrigue and the build-up's getting better and better. I probably will end up staying up for it and watching it just to see the intrigue of what happens. But I would love to see Mike Tyson come out within the first 2 rounds and blast him out, because I think that's probably all he's got. I think the open workout videos and the lives of Tyson doing the short, sharp bursts are very deceiving, and make him look to people like he's got something left. But even though they're 2-minute rounds, 8 of them, will he be able to keep going? Because the thing is that the punching power is the last thing to go, but the speed goes, the fitness goes, and that's that's going to be the problem.
There's a rumor going around, Darren, that after his last spar on Tuesday or whatever, or Monday, that they had to put him on the oxygen afterwards. So
yeah, I've heard that.
That's maybe why, because Jake Paul, like Daz was saying earlier, fair play to him. He knows how to play a room, and he would be a good promoter. But to be walking around and carrying himself like that, he probably knows something's coming, because and you can't front it up as much as that. What he's fronting it up.
Yeah.
A couple of things I didn't like. I didn't like the way he went around everybody who said Mike Tyson would win, offering a bet to them and belittling them by the amount that they was willing to offer in the bet. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And just a quick round robin. I'll come to Harrison first. Harrison, do you think this is scripted? Just yes or no will do.
No, probably not.
No, Brett, scripted.
No. But the only thing I think is, if Jake Paul does find it too easy in there, does he hold him up for a couple of rounds?
But you don't think it's scripted?
No.
Or do you think it's scripted? A bit like WWE, where they know what they're going to do?
No, I don't think so.
Daz, that as in Metcalf?
Unfortunately, I don't think it is.
And what about you, Ashton?
No, but I'm speaking to a lot of people about it who think it is.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to another fight. So we've got Mario Barrios versus Abel Ramos for the WBC welter. Looks a very good fight, this, and obviously a certain fighter who we not name has got his eyes on this one and been calling him out left, right, and centre. So, Brett, I'll come to you first on this one. This one is a valid, decent pro fight, right?
Yeah. I mean, you talk about the card. I don't know some of the ones that are further down.
No.
But this one and the co-main event are going to be good fights. I think Barrios is he's not afraid to take him on. As you said, there's certain people that calling him out that are in nowhere near in his level. I think what he'll do in this fight is he'll probably take charge from start to finish and comfortably win on a UD. So I have him comfortably winning on a UD, but I think he'll look slick, and I don't know if the circus is there to jump in the ring and call him out, but we'll see.
By all accounts, he will be in Texas. Is it Texas? Have I got the right card? I think I have AT&T.
Yeah, Arlington.
Yeah, so I understand that he will be there. So maybe Brett, maybe.
I mean, at some point, I know we're not going to go down that route, and there's people on here that got lots to say on that. But at some point, they're going to have to feed him to one of these people that he keeps calling out.
Yeah, agreed. Orkan, coming to you. Give us your thoughts on the Barrios Ramos fight.
I think it will be a fairly good fight, but I think Mario Barrios will take it. He's from Texas. It's a home for him. So I think he takes it on a UD.
Okay. Daz, coming to you. This sort of fight does give this card credibility, don't it, for hardcore boxing fans to a degree.
It makes it a bit watchable until that farce comes on. But yeah, I like Barrios. I think it's a decent fight. I think this will be a decent scrap. I think Barrios wins though, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think it's not a bad fight.
Okay, coming to Daz Ashton. Daz, just on a side note, there is fighters on this card from India, Australia, so he's covering all territories in terms of viewership as well, isn't it, Jake Paul? So I think he's a smart cookie, but moving on to Barrios Ramos, give us your thoughts.
Just to go on about what you were just saying there, yeah, I think he's a very clever guy, and you can't fault him for what he's actually doing. He's creating huge numbers, getting massive eyes on the sport, and you can't knock what he's doing. As regards this fight, I sort of agree with Brett. I think it's a decent fight, like you say. It's one of the better fights on the card, along with the one we're coming to next. I think Barrios will win this on probably a fairly comfortable unanimous decision. And you are right about the guy where the usual suspect ran about. It does make me wonder whether he's going to start trying to create something again if Barrios gets the win. So let's see.
I think you will. Okay, moving on then to Katie Taylor versus Serrano 2. So I'm going to come to Orkan first on this one. So Orkan, obviously Serrano's having to come up. Is it 3 weights last time I looked? To fight Katie Taylor. So give us your breakdown on the fight and if Katie Taylor wins this, who's next, or does she retire?
I think Amanda Serrano had a stability fight in the weight for 5-6 months ago, I think. But that doesn't say that much for me. So that's a issue that she has maybe could be an issue. Last time they fought was at lightweight, so now it's a weight above. But I think that Katie Taylor has had tougher fights since they fought with Chantal Cameron. So I think Amanda Serrano could be more fresh for this fight. And if Katie wins, I think she may retire.
Who do you think is going to win?
I think it will be as close as the first one, and I think it could be a split this time too. But I think that Amanda Serrano has an advantage as a home fighter on this fight. So I go with a very close fight, and Amanda Serrano winning a close decision. The last fight, I was at the MSG at the last fight, and I had Amanda Serrano winning by 1 round from my seat. And even some Irish that I chatted with thought that Katie had lost before the decision came. So it was very close at the first one.
Okay, thank you very much. Coming to Daz next. Daz, obviously a little bit closer to the female fight game than the rest of us. Give us your thoughts about this fight. And is it fair to say Katie Taylor's on a bit of a renaissance? There's a little bit of a dip there for a while, wasn't there? But it seems like she's got the bit between the teeth again. Or am I being harsh?
Listen, that fight with Chantal Cameron was very, very close. So I think she's on slide, mate, if I'm honest. I think this is going to come down to who's the fresher. And I think that's Amanda Serrano. I actually think Serrano was going to stop her later.
Really?
Yeah. She nearly stopped a good, the better version of Katie Taylor last time. She had her in terrible trouble. I just think she's the fresher. I really do. Katie's had a lot of tough fights. And as she's gone on in her career, she's got a lot more hittable, but it's made it very watchable for us fans. She's had a fantastic career, but I just think Serrano's the fresher, and I think Serrano's going to stop her anytime after 8th.
Okay. Darren, your next fella. So again, give us your thoughts on the fight and who wins it.
Really, really looking forward to this one. Obviously, it's the rematch of the Fight of the Year of 2022. I think it's going to be just pretty much the same as before, but I do think that for a lot of what Daz said, I do think Serrano is going to be the fresher. We don't know. The test, of course, is we don't know what them Chantal Cameron fights has taken out of Katie Taylor. And I can see Dazzy's point about if Serrano could stop her this time. She's climbing up the weights, a bit more power behind her. Possibly it could happen. But I think it's going to be a war again. But I think the sort of home advantage for Serrano being on the Jake Paul card could also go in her favour. But I think it's going to be tight. But I would say that Serrano this time would just about have the upper hand and probably win a split decision.
Thank you. Harrison, I'm looking at you. Is anyone going to go for Katie Taylor winning this fight? Over to you.
I've got to give a bit of renaissance back to my old Irish roots, and I'm going to do exactly that. Before I do, though, what an unbelievable advertisement for women's boxing these two have been over the past decade. Sport wouldn't be anywhere remotely close to the level that it is on the female side if it wasn't for these two. And you're also here looking at a rematch, probably of the greatest women's fight of all time. First time out, it was an utterly, utterly extraordinary fight. You had people going Taylor by 1, Serrano by 1. So many people had it a draw. I remember I had it a draw. It was just unbelievable. And since that, these two women have helped grow and grow and grow. And they really are first ballot Hall of Famers, in my opinion, both of them. And to see another undisputed set of titles on the line here, it's just absolutely. If you're gonna get the correct fights for this undercard and the right eyes on the sport, these are the type of fights that you want to try and make. And this is absolutely brilliant. I think Katie Taylor's got a lot more left to give than some people might be giving her credit for. Yeah, the Chantal Cameron fights were close. They did probably take a lot out of her. On the other side of that, you've got Amanda Serrano, who's been fighting 3-minute rounds, 12 3-minute rounds, and she still seems like she's got plenty left to go. She could be fighting until she's 50. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. But I'd like to think that Katie Taylor will have worked with Ross Ename here to have done the right things again. It's similar to how close the first Chantal Cameron fight was. She bounced back off that nicely and She corrected herself and she did the right things. She applied her aggression, and she needs to continue to do that as well. Katie Taylor has always been a much better aggressive boxer than she has technically. If she uses that to her strength here, I don't love her taking a points decision on a MVP card where Amanda Serrano's, of course, signed to the main promoter. But if we assume that the Texas board are going to behave themselves, I think Katie Taylor can still steal a quick, very close split decision. It's going to be a close fight. Absolutely, it's going to be a close fight, and it's one I've been looking forward to for a very long time. And they were trying to get this rearranged, weren't they, to go to Germany and to go to all these different places. I'm glad that it has stuck on this card because it deserves the eyes that it's going to get. And I'm going to chance a Katie Taylor split decision here in a very, very good rematch.
Okay. And Brett, coming to you. Can it live up to fight one, do we think, Brett?
I think it's another Ward Gatti scenario here. And the reason being is because of where they're at their careers. Now, great point. Obviously, I know, Harrison, you just reiterated it, what Darren made there. Because I've been going Katie Taylor for most of the week. And then I've been swayed over the last 24 hours. One of the things that I've been swayed for is that have you seen the big change in bookie prices overnight? So I don't know if a load of money's come in, or they know something in the camp where some insider said that she might be carrying an injury, but it's flipped. Now Serrano's favorite, and Katie was favorite at the start of the week. So that in itself tells you that somebody knows something. I did see her on the pads though, and I thought she looked slick as anything, Katie. She was hitting with spite. Her timing was brilliant. Serrano, she looks healthy. She looked really healthy at the press conference. She's beaming. Her skin looks beaming. So ultimately, what it might come down to is, I think it's going to be a war. I think Katie's going to feel in the fight that she's going to have to assert herself, and she's going to have to go in the center of the ring and does what she does. Bite down on a gum shield and throw shots. Serrano might take the back foot and show those straight long shots, but it will come down to if there is any kind of favoritism for Serrano being on a Jake Paul card. So I think it goes to the scorecards. I do know a lot of people though, Daz, that are saying the same as you, that they think Katie is going to run out of gas late on and run into something that she can't recover from. But as it stands today, I mean, if you'd have asked me 24 hours ago, I was going Katie UD. And now I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Serrano split decision. I think Katie's still got enough, even if she's carrying an injury. I think she's still got enough dog in her that she's gonna leave it all in the center of that ring.
I was just quickly having a look at the betting to what you was just saying. Katie Taylor's favourite again.
She's got
Katie Taylor's 4-5. Amanda Serrano's even money.
Yeah,
so
you can't split them, can they? You can't split them.
There's nothing in it, but slight favourite is Katie Taylor here.
And I've got it the other way on what maybe it's been in a different country, but
Well,
they really can't split them then, can they? Let's be honest.
No,
there's not much in that.
Definitely not.
Okay, moving on to the card on Saturday night. We've got a Riyadh season Latino night. The guy that I keep tipping is going to get beat every time he fights, and he proves me wrong. Crispin and Smith versus Zurdo. I'm going to come to Darren Metcalf first. So Daz, let's start with an undercard fight. Let's go with William Cepeda versus Tevin Farmer. Quite an intriguing fight, this one, for the WBC interim lightweight title. Not many people giving Farmer a chance in this one. What say you?
It's going to be very tough. Going to be very, very tough because he's Cepeda fights like an escaped mental patient. He's absolutely relentless. He just wants to punch holes in you. Very, very, very aggressive. Probably one of the most aggressive fighters around at the minute. Listen, very, very good. I expect him to wear Farmer down, to be honest, around 7 or 8, maybe even quicker. I just cannot see anything other. If Cepeda wants to compete on the stage what we expect him to get to, this is a fight he wins fairly comfortable, and could look good. He's just relentless. I enjoy watching the guy. He's all action. He just, I mean, what he did to Max Hughes, he was just relentless. And that's just how he fights. I don't think it matters who he's in with. That's just how he fights. So yeah, I can only see it as a Zepeda win, midway, halfway.
Okay, cheers. Coming to Daz Ashton next. I mean, Farmer got beat last time out, so it's an interesting choice to throw him in, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and that was one of his step ups he's had really, and he failed at that, so he's going in even deeper here. I was just going to say that the thing for me with Tevin Farmer, I feel like he's one of those fighters, been around a while now, and I feel he's one of those fighters that when he steps up to the higher levels, he gets found out every time. And he's coming up, like Daz said, as a real good boxer, a horrible puncher as well. It makes me wonder whether after a few rounds, Tevin Farmer's just going to get on the back foot and try and survive. But I think Zepeda will probably stop him like late rounds. I have seen like conflicting things. Some people think like Farmer is going to pose some trouble and maybe can win on points. I think Zepeda is just going to wear him down, and once he starts wearing him down, he's going to get on the back foot. Yeah.
So prediction?
Zepeda, round 8, 9.
Okay, coming to Harrison. I mean, Harrison, I looked through Farmer's resume, and you could argue his best win's probably John Joe Carroll. Is in with a different level of opponent this weekend. So, give us your thoughts.
I think Darren's got it absolutely bang on there. Every time that Tevin Farmer's stepped up since he lost his world title, he just hasn't been good enough. And it's been a long old while since he's been at his absolute best as well. Moving up in weight from when he was a world champion as well to come in here with Zepeda. This might seem like it's close on paper. I really, really don't think it is. They've obviously got that mutual opponent as well in Joseph Diaz, who Zepeda managed to get through in rounds. And on the flip side to that, of course, Farmer couldn't get past him. So it's very difficult to make an argument here, I think, for Tevin Farmer. And like everyone's just said, Zepeda is an absolute machine to watch. He is one of those that is going to co-main a lot of cards and get a lot of people interested in the sport because he's an absolute wrecking ball. Really, really like his stance here. And I think that this could be a good name to put on a resume that gets him closer to getting this WBC title outright as well. I think that Zepeda's going to blast him out of there, and I think he's going to do it quite well, to be honest. I think this could be over in 4 or 5 rounds if he continues to just be aggressive like he has been in his last couple of fights. I don't think Farmer's going to love that pressure at all. It's a really good spot for him to get a really nice win here, I think. And I'm big on Zepeda here.
Okay, thank you. Coming to Brett. So Brett, what I'll say about Tevin Farmer, this is his cup final, right? 34, last chance on the merry-go-round. Dangerous fight with it being his cup final, or does Zepeda walk through him?
I think it's a cracking point you make there. It's massively his cup final, but the thing is, it's also Zepeda's cup final in terms of he's on this big stage with all these eyes, because this is a big card as well.
Yeah.
And what I feel here, I actually feel that this is fantastic matchmaking on the Zepeda side, because he is a name. He's a recognizable name. You're right. If you start delving into it and you go, what's his best win? Then you go, oh, hold on a minute. But I think that he's just going to, as they've all said, he's relentless. He's going to run through him. I think it's an early night's work. I think he's going to look destructive and he's going to make a pure statement, and it'll be over in 4, 5 rounds.
Okay. Orkan, coming to you. Obviously, Turki Al-Sheikh likes exciting fighters. Is that going to make Zepeda put his foot down even more to get him out of there?
Yeah, I think so. I think El Cameron will stop Tevin Farmer inside 3 or 4 rounds.
Okay.
William Zepeda, El Cameron has stopped his last 4 opponents inside 6 rounds, all of them. So I think it will be similar to the Maxi Hughes fight.
Interesting. Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to move on to the headline now, the main event. So Chris Smith versus Gilberto Ramirez. So I'm going to come to Ashton first. I don't know why I keep betting against this guy, Daz, but I do. I know I'm not the only one on the show. But give us your thoughts. And is this finally the fight where CBS becomes unstuck?
Well, like you, I think several times on this show I've gone against Chris Billam-Smith. I think I did the last one, React Pool.
Mhm.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
Yeah. I went against him then, and he proved me wrong. Scrappy fight. The one thing that I think's happened with Chris Billam-Smith lately is a lot of his fights he's in a scrappy. There's a lot of holding and clinching and that. Whereas he's had some real good fights as well against like the Isaac Chamberlains and things like that. But I think he loses this year. I mean, I've said it time and time again, but I do think he's coming up another level here in Zurdo Ramirez, and I think Zurdo is going to have the wrong style for him, and I think Zurdo. I mean, I'm going to say I think Zurdo may stop him late. I mean, Chris Billam-Smith seems to have a chin on him, but I don't think he's had the pressure put on him before, like I think this fight is going to bring to him. So I think Zurdo Ramirez will probably stop him late.
Okay, thank you. Harrison, coming to you. I've often said there just seems to be something missing for me for Chris Billam-Smith. I don't know whether it's just because he's not fashionable, to be honest, as a fighter, but give us your breakdown.
Yeah, I can understand where you come from and others with Chris Billam-Smith because he's not the most enthusiastic or dramatic of characters.
I'd use the word charismatic as well, not the most charismatic.
Yeah, charismatic's quite fair, I think. He doesn't exactly sell his fights exceptionally well. You would barely know this was on if it wasn't a Riyadh season card. But I suppose there's one side of things where he can be the dullest bloke on the planet. He's going to have to make his own case to be the best cruiserweight on the planet as well. And he's continued to step up every single time. And I would say to some extent prove people wrong. He's often been the underdog in fights. He certainly was in the Lawrence Okoli fight. The Riakporhe one went 50-50. But he seems to just continually find more. He's not the hardest puncher we've ever seen for a cruiserweight. His fights do tend to go deep, and he is much more on the technical side, which might just work in his favor here against Zurdo Ramirez, because Zurdo equally is not a monster puncher. I mean, we've only seen him once, obviously, since he's moved up, and that was against Arsene Goulamarian. Not the most exciting of fights, but he did enough to win that, and he won it pretty well. Wasn't disgraced against Dimitri Bivol, but at the same time, you never really felt like that was they were selling that fight to be a lot closer than it actually was, and Bivol was just continually doing enough, in my opinion. So I think with all that in mind, I think I'm going to give Chris Billam-Smith another go on the wheel here. I really am, and I'm going to back the Brit. It's a very close fight. I would take opinions on either side, to be honest. I don't think it's a 120-108 fight either way. I think this is going to get really technical. It might be a bit of an ugly watch at times as well. You don't really want to see two 14.5 stone blokes walking around the ring, but I think Chris Billam-Smith found himself a nice spot here. I don't know how many other people he would probably beat at this level. I think this might be his maximum scope, but if he wins this, he gets the Opetaya fight off the back of it as well, and it's great for him. And I think Billam-Smith's going to do a number on him here, and I think he's going to win on points.
Okay, thank you. Coming to you, Brett, next. Brett, are you surprised that Chris Billam-Smith's on a Riyadh card? He's not the most exciting of fighters, is there? Are they cherry picking a belt here?
I think he's probably, obviously, unless you're a huge boxing purist, he's only known for his domestic British fights, isn't he? Yeah. And the ones that he's beaten there, he's beat the hugger in Okoli. And then and fair enough, Riakporhe is a live dog. He's live though. He'll have a go. And he surprised me because I didn't back him in the second fight in that one, and he came through that. But look, we're not stupid enough to know. Personal opinion here. There's levels to the game, and I feel like he's really going to find out what the level is when he steps in there with Ramirez. Just the caliber of people that he's been in there with. 47 fights. I think Billam-Smith is courageous, and he's got that British heart about him, and he'll have a go. But I feel like he's going to get stopped late on. I do. I feel like he's going to get stopped. I think he's going to wear him down, and it's not going to be a concussive stoppage, but it'll be like he's just taking a few too many shots, and the referee will step in.
Do you think he's going to get outclassed, Brett, or is that too strong a word?
No, that would be my thoughts on it, mate. If I'm being brutally honest, I feel like Billam's. He's obviously showed us he's got a good chin and he's game, and he'll have a go, and he's going to assert himself. But I just think that the level of the opponent that he's going in with, in my opinion, he's not of that level. And so I just feel like he's going to be on the end of a very, very difficult night. And if he doesn't get stopped late on, he's going to lose on a wide scorecard.
I thought the style as well, just quickly, I thought the style as well, not too long ago, of Masternak, when he went in with Chris Billam-Smith, really upset him in that fight. And I thought he was going on to possibly lose.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Ramirez fights sort of like Masternak, but he does stand in front of you and he is willing to have a go. So I just think sometimes Chris Billam-Smith looks to spoil and hold. And for me, sometimes in the fight, after 4 rounds, Billam-Smith looks knackered.
Yeah.
And if he can't spoil and hold and someone's active in front of him, I think the doubts will start coming in then.
Yeah, I've been really critical of him on the show. I really have, but I just don't. There's something missing. I don't particularly, he doesn't excite me. But he's just holes, isn't there? There's holes in his game that I believe will be exploited. Orkan, coming to you. So give us your thoughts on the fight.
I think it could be go to points, but I think Zurdo will win on a fairly, maybe 116, 112 decision win.
Okay. Darren, coming to you last. If you had to put a game plan together for Chris Billam-Smith just to change it up a little bit, what would it be?
Now he's just got to do what he does. He's got to spoil. He's got to work and then spoil. To me, you can't. What's he going to do? He's not really going to go out there and try and bomb him out. He's not really going to try and fancy Dan outbox him. You just got to do what he usually does for me. Just look to work, be first, then just tie him up. Mate, I'm not writing him off, I'm actually picking. I think Chris Billam-Smith's going to pull this off. I really do. I've said it for about 2 or 3 weeks. I think he's going to pull it off. I think he likes proving people wrong.
Yeah, great.
And he's obviously got something. You know what I mean? He's obviously got something. I just think he's going to do exactly that. What I've said. I think he's just going to try and lead off, maybe catch some of Zurdo shots on gloves, and then work and maybe tie him. Maybe listen, even working in close. The Americans love that. Do you know what I mean? They love that working in close. I just think he's going to pull it off. I think he's going to win on points.
Daz, do you think he'd be a world champion in any other weight class?
Oh, sounded like Carl.
CBS.
That's
the line I come out with, Daz, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. The protege is learning. Mate, honestly, honest answer is: how many world titles there is in divisions? Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do think he could. He probably would win a world title in another division. If there's one world title, no, but you could say that about a lot of fighters who are world champions at the minute. But yeah, I don't think he's as awful as Carl thinks he is. To be fair, he can't be. You know what I mean? He must have something.
I think he's very lucky in the weight in the weight class that he's in terms of the talent within.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, mate. You can't listen. You can't dress it up. Cruiserweight's not very good. These one guy stands alone above everyone, and then there's probably Billam-Smith, Zurdo.
Jake Paul.
Who?
Jake Paul.
Oh yeah, Jake Paul. Yeah, I mean, you can't listen. You can't dress it up. It's not a very good division. So yeah, it's probably one of the better ones of the rest. It's it is. It can only listen. He can only fight what's in front of him, can't he? It can only be what's put in front of him. But I will say what does give me reservations about him is, I mean, I think we all picked Riakpo to beat him.
Yeah.
And Riakpo were awful.
It was awful. He can't be that bad again, Daz.
Yeah. Well, even Akoli, mate. Akoli was like shocking. Even more so.
Is that for a reason though? Is that Chris Billam-Smith's style? Is he making them?
See, that's what I'm going to say. Is the reason Chris Billam-Smith is making him? He's dragging him into that. If it's just a case he's caught him on right night, then yeah, I mean, been fortunate, but you know, I say I don't like to call it luck. I like to call it's, you know, he's took his chance. I just think he's going to win this fight.
Interesting. And then last question of the night, quick round robin before we bring it to a close. Which one does the bigger numbers in terms of TV viewers? Do you think it's going to be Jake Paul card or is it going to be the Riyadh season?
That's not even a question.
That's a silly one. That's a silly one.
Is it? Is it though?
Yeah.
Yes.
I bet you Jake Paul and Tyson does way more.
Way more.
Way more.
Has Andy asked you to stick that in? Shocking question.
Andy's trying desperately to disregard that at the show.
Yeah.
But on the side note, my brother actually rang me to say he's getting up for the Jake Paul fight, yet he didn't stay awake to watch Bivol versus Beterbiev. So that shows you know, he's not an hardcore fan by any stretch, but it comes back to the point where it captures people's imaginations, right? Who don't normally watch boxing.
Carl, listen, like even where I live in Canada, obscure town, I'm telling you now, after walking around, because you know I'm into boxing. Oh, you're watching the Fight Friday, There's no clue what it's about, but it's a spectacle. So the digits are going to be insane, the amount of viewership on this. Insane.
Oh, yeah. And when they've got the platform, the global platform of Netflix as well.
Yeah.
Perfect for it.
It's free to a minute,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys have seen it as well. I was just going to switch the subject quickly. Last final one. The Caballal Bacoli purse bid have been cancelled. Caball's pulled out, and there's rumours. Billy Nelson is actually saying that Caball's going in a different direction a long way from Bacoli. But there's also rumours tonight that Caball's going to be Dubois' opponent. And that's why he's pulled out. But that is just rumours. But
I do feel for Bacoli because he's finding it hard work, isn't it? You know,
100%.
They've ordered Lyndon Arthur to fight Liam Cameron again.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, what is it for? What's it an eliminator for?
Eliminator for the British.
For the British.
Yeah. But to be fair, the first fight was a good one and close. So, you know, that's not a fight that I'm not against. You know, I'm not against that fight.
I wonder what Ben Whittaker's planning to do then, because his stock's dropped dramatically, hasn't it? If you don't jump in with Cameron again, you know.
Well, he's going to basically be fighting in Wolverhampton, and it ain't going to. If Cameron's got to take that fight, you know, he's got to sell about the whole card's got to sell about 2,000 seats. So, you know, he's going to 2,000 seats in Wolverhampton ain't going to be hard, is it really? Well, he might get about 500 the way his stock's dropped.
But he ain't going to earn much coin out of it. He's not going to do a big deal on that, is he? He ain't going to earn much coin off boxer for doing 2,000 tickets in Wolverhampton.
No, he needs to get his act together.
I don't like that fight for Liam, if I'm honest. I think he deserves. Yeah, I think he deserves a bit of something bigger and a bit of something. He deserves a big payday. Whittaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem's going to be. Go on, sorry, Daz.
Lyndon Arthur's a very, very clever fighter. Yeah. Very clever.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen Lyndon train. Very clever fighter. He'll address what he did. Listen, I thought Lyndon won that fight. I thought Lyndon won by two rounds. And I'm mates with him. You know what I mean? But I thought Lyndon won it. I think he'll adjust. He'll use his jab a hell of a lot more. And I just think he'll win a bit more comfortably. I hope Liam proves me wrong, but I think if that's that's what happens. I don't know. I mean, Whittaker then's got a ready-made excuse, hasn't he? It's you know. Listen. I just think they should. If Ben Whittaker's got any credibility, should be getting back in with Liam.
I feel for Liam though, because he can't sit on his hands, Daz, can he? He wants to earn the coin.
Yeah, he can't. No, he can't. But you know, if he loses to Linden for British title eliminator, it's like
it's going to be hard to get that fight again, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel it is.
It's going to be hard to get it.
Yeah, I feel it is, and it's a shame for him. But this is on Ben Whittaker. This, you know, and Ben Whittaker's team management. You know, they should be saying, right, they should give Liam a date, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Let's have it right. Ben Whittaker's a laughing stock of British boxing at the minute, right? He's got no credibility from his peers and no credibility from the fans.
Mate,
his promoter's not helping him, Carl.
No.
His promoter's not helping him either.
No.
Mate, honestly, he's got the worst thing happening to him at the minute that can happen to any fighter. People are questioning his bottle.
Yeah.
And listen, you can't question his bottle. The kid's a fighter. But people actually asking, well, did you make a decision that you knew that fight was slipping away?
He spewed that fight.
The first chance you got, you sort of took it to get out of it.
I don't want to talk other fighters because the brave and the chance of life every time getting through the ropes. But my honest opinion is he spewed that fight.
Mate, it was coming on top, weren't it?
Yeah,
it was coming on top, and whether he made that decision consciously or, as Liam said, he heard his trainer tell him to stay down. Who knows? Either way, it's not a good look.
No.
He don't listen. He fights all wrong for me anyway. He fights like he's a one-punch KO artist, and I don't think he is at all. He runs out of ideas, and for what he did as an amateur as well. His tactics with Liam were stupid.
Yeah,
you know, Liam's got a really tight guard, and he wasted so much energy, Ben, throwing the jab at the guard.
Well, he went Edmonton, didn't he? He went Edmonton.
It was crazy. You're not going to get through it. You know, had he attacked Liam's body, could have been a different story.
Yeah, but it's fair to say that most of us, the jury was out. We all anyway before he got in there with Liam. So we can't necessarily be. We thought he had a little bit too much for Liam, but the jury was out on him anyway because he was the level of opponent that he was fighting. He's supposed to do it to those type of opponents.
Yeah, it was a big.
What I'm saying is now. Look, I'm just saying if he was managed by or promoter was Frank or Eddie. They'd be spinning something in the media that gave him a little bit of breathing space, right? That just said, listen, he knows he didn't perform. He was terrible. Maybe he could have fought on, you know, but he was thinking about his career. What we're going to do now is we're going to get his head right. He's having some mental health issues. We're going to get his head right. We wish Liam all the best. And we're probably going to have a warm-up fight because his mind's gone a little bit. We'll get him back in the gym. We'll get him going, and he will take that fight. The pressure's on him now to take it next.
Do you know
there's no information coming from the camp?
Do you know
that's why the pressure's on?
Do you know what? And I thought this the other day. Do you know how he said that he hurt his back? We'd have probably given him a bit more credit for being injured.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Because them slow motion replays, mate, they find you out. They do.
Yeah.
Because there's cameras from all angles. So when he went down, and they were saying that, you know, 1 minute he's hit his foot on the steps. Next minute, he's hit his foot on the ring apron. Next minute, it was the security guard. He hit his foot on the security guard.
You could argue that Liam had a heavier fall than Ben did.
Yeah.
When you look back.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you can't. I can't speak for that ring because I weren't in that ring, but I always check a ring, mate. I always, you know, when I'm physically capable, that is. You always use, you know, check a ring and just lean a bit. Listen, it's very hard over a well put in ring and ropes. It's very hard to go over like that. You know what I mean? Unless the man who's like got his back to the ropes literally puts himself over.
Yeah,
very hard.
Okay, 5 minutes left, lads. Any other business you want to discuss before we bring the show to an end?
Yeah.
Go on, Orkan.
I'm going back to the Friday show that the views from for the Friday show and for the Riyadh show, and there are a lot of countries that don't support boxing, but the Friday show they talking about. Sweden it's a country like that. No one talks boxing normally in Sweden.
But they are talking about the Netflix show, right?
Yes.
There's some Canada then.
Yeah,
and some other quick topic that the deal has been agreed with Sugar Nunez and Anto Kakachi.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Has it? Oh, I saw Kakachi giving it large on social media about the purse was a small amount, half the money.
At least he's not ducking. You know, at least he's not ducking now after that.
Yeah. So, what do you think we will see it on February 22nd card in Riyadh?
Yeah.
Me too.
Who wins or can?
I think Sugar Nunez stops Anto Kakachi early.
What about you, Brett? Who are you picking?
I like Kakachi. I think he's game, and so yeah, I don't know it's a different level in it, but I'd back that. But I'm disappointed because the fight I wanted to see.
Yep. Lee Wood versus Kakachi, by any chance?
Yeah. I really wanted to see that. But,
I worry for Lee Wood because we're not hearing nothing, are we? The days and weeks and months are passing by, and we don't seem to be any closer to getting him into the ring.
Well, the Cameron situation there, where what you want him to do, you want him to have earned enough coin out of the game that he can sit on his hands. I think because Lee's earned enough, he has earned enough coin out of the game. What he's doing is he's waiting for that big Saudi card, that big whatever. He wants a massive fight to go out, and
will it ever come?
I don't know because it don't seem like him and Eddie are connected at the minute, does it?
Well, he's not. He's a free agent at the minute, isn't he? So Eddie ain't gonna put him as a priority, is he? Let's be honest. So, yeah, Harrison, do you think Kakachi wins, or are you going for Nunez?
I think the fans win. Absolutely brilliant fight. See, Kakachi's done nothing for me to say this, but I do think Sugar Nunez is probably just a little bit too good for him. But I suppose we'll revisit the fight near the time, won't we, in February? But it could go either way. And Nunez is powerful. He's got a big right hand for a super featherweight. So, yeah, I think Nunez will probably just nick it.
Ashton?
I think Kakachi's style will probably play into Nunez's hands, and I think Nunez will stop him late.
And to bring the show to an end, Coach Medcalf, what are your thoughts?
Draw.
No.
Nunez, I think.
Nunez, okay. Well, I'll bring the show to an end there then, guys. So, Harrison, thank you very much for your contribution. Brett, appreciate you joining in the middle of the day, fella. Much appreciated. Orkan, thank you for your contribution. Daz, thank you for joining as ever. And Ashton, good luck with the new channel. I'm not prompting it no more.
I've already subscribed, Daz, and to you as well. I can.
Cheers,
no more free advertising, Ashton. Get your own platform. This has been That's More Boxing, proudly sponsored by LD Liftings Limited and SC Travel. Back again Sunday. Let's hope Andy can make it Sunday if he feels better, so we can reflect on the Jake Paul victory or loss.
I don't think we'll see Andy again if Jake wins.
Can you imagine? So, Andy, we all hope you're feeling better. Get the paracetamol down.
Can we have a little bit of banter and see if he's willing to take this on? If Jake Paul does win, which none of us want it to happen, can he have at the back of his title, his Twitter title, aka the Problem Child, just for 1 week? Just for 1 week.
Well, you know what, mate? I think that's a very good idea. I think Andy, I tell you what, we'll make it easy for Andy. Yeah. If Jake Paul stops Mike Tyson, he's got to change his Twitter photo to Jake Paul for a week.
Or he's going to have to stock up on paracetamol.
Yeah. or if Jake Paul wins on points, he's got to change his photo to Jake Paul for 3 days.
AKA the Problem Child.
And if Tyson wins, if Tyson wins, we all buy him a pint on 14th.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Come
So,
on, Jake.
never thought I'd hear that.
No, I'm not that type for a pint.
Okay, this has been Last Bell Boxing. See you all Sunday 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. We'll let you know on socials for the review show. Have a good evening, everybody. Take care.
Cheers, Carl.
Boys.
Cheers, guys.